Now, what can Samoa conjure up from here? There's the big number 8 once more. Oh, tremendous speed by Justin Purdy. On to Lomi Fa'atu. Lomi Fa'atu managing to get the ball away to Census Johnson, who has a nice little run again. And all of a sudden Samoa right down in the United States territory. And his card is out immediately.
Well, I was reaching for the pocket myself at that point. Clearly a professional foul there. You know, it was an ideal attacking position for Samoa. They were desperate for quick ball there, and it's Munga, the big number 8, who's transgressed and's got 10 minutes in the bin.
So as if the USA weren't under enough pressure, they've lost a man. And that was the try scorer from the first half, Kane Thompson, who knocked on there. We'll certainly have a scrummage. The USA, in fact, winning that ball. It's quite a useful kick. Certainly puts Samoa under a bit of pressure there. And the ball just going out into touch through Lomi Fa'atu. Under pressure there a little bit, though, from Philip Eloff.
Well, I think he was saying that Fa'atu was obstructing him, but I think, well, I don't know whether you call it lazy running or not. Here's the, well, Munga. Yeah, he wasn't a tackler. He came out from behind, but notwithstanding that, he was pretty blatant, slowing down the ball, and I think a good decision by Wayne Barnes.
There's Fafita Munga. Now then, USA on the attack. They've got to try and keep as much possession during that period. They're down to 14 men as possible. So that's Isika coming into the attacking movement there. Certainly the Samoan defence are very, very quick to come up. And there's the captain putting in another good tackle. Did Samoa-Satiti. Nguenya is going for the corner. The Americans are going to score. Where on earth did he conjure that up from? That was absolutely superb. And a real bit of magic from the right winger.
Well, the Zimbabwean-born winger showed a clean pair of heels to everyone then. You have to say it came from poor Samoan defence. A couple of he should have been taken by Tuilangi, and then can't quite see whether it was a centre Mapusua, but Tuilangi should have had in there. A couple of poor defensive efforts on Nguenya, but great speed, great finishing. Well, lovely little dive.
Well, that puts a slightly different perspective on things. You could have been forgiven to think that the USA were almost dead and buried with one man in the sin bin.
And I think, to be honest, that Samoa really ought to have taken the 3 points that were on offer there rather than gone for the quick one there. 3 points in front of the posts, 25-3. It's beginning to become out of reach for the USA, but now they're right back in it.
So the American skipper, Mike Herkus, really does need these extra 2 points. And that is superb. 22 points to 10 now. And that came after the USA's 4th try of this World Cup. But I don't think they've scored one, which will give them as much pleasure as that one.
Yes, he just steps inside. Yeah, it was Sevi Ali who missed him as well as Tuilangi.
Well, we said this guy was quick earlier on, didn't we? And that was a nice little demonstration of his speed.
But it's about the first time he's had the ball with any space to run.
Oh my goodness, Tuilangi almost got that to hand. Not a particularly good kick there, but it was from a very, very tight angle. Samoa-Satiti there just waiting for the ball to settle before he picked up. That's aimed towards the corner. Yeah, straight in the arms of the United States player. Bit of basketball or table tennis or whatever you want to call it at the moment. It's about the 3rd or 4th kick we've had in a row. Oof. Quite tricky little take there for Chris Wiles. And it does go into touch eventually. Sapolu there, just waiting for the bounce, but went straight into touch, being chased by Celeste Sika.
Well, Samoa really want to try and make their one-man advantage count for this 10 minutes. In fact, they're 7 points adrift.
That was well contested by both teams, but goes straight back out into touch. A slight hold up there. One of the lock forwards just almost bent double. Back in the line though is Hayden Mexted. Now, what can Samoa conjure up this time? Goes towards the back again, and that is Samoa-Satidi, the Samoan captain, who made a bit of a mess of it. Hercus just tidied that up for the USA. The USA have got possession once more. Oh, and another break is on, my goodness. This time it's Owen Lentz, the hooker. Almost showed the whole of the Samoan team there. Clean pair of heels, but Samoa have turned it over. Junior Polo it is. Dummies 2 people. Still got possession. Looking for support. Little chip forward there by the scrum half. And Chris Wiles came across. I don't know whether the referee thought that the American fullback had knocked on, but obviously not. But what a break out of defence by Junior Polo.
Well, it's end-to-end stuff, isn't it? Both sides very ambitious in what they're trying to do in you know, what a very difficult conditions, and they're playing brilliantly.
Well, it's ironic, isn't it? They're playing their best rugby of the game so far, and once again Owen Lentz, the hooker, making a little break there.
Number 10 early.
It's just sort of brilliant play there. A couple of little shows of the ball to check the defender, and you know, these conditions underfoot, very slippy. Oh, very unlucky not to just chipped it up into Chris Wiles' arms. Did well to recover that.
Well, I'm not sure how many neutrals are in the ground tonight, David, but they certainly are being entertained, particularly in the last 5 or 10 minutes.
Well, I think they're getting a great game of rugby from both sides, actually. You know, both sides really trying to play rugby. Both sides really trying to play rugby in difficult conditions, and you know, to their credit, the crowd are enjoying themselves.
So coming down to 3 minutes more now for Fifita Munga. USA still down to 14 players, but let's not forget during that time they've scored their only try of the game so far. So in the ascendancy, and that was a lovely take by Chris Wiles, made the mark. And Wayne Barnes saying he didn't quite hear it, but one assumes he did make the mark.
Well, I think if he hadn't made the mark, he'd been absolutely flattened by Tuilangi on the side.
Yes. Oh, well kept in. That was Justin Purdy onto Loki Crichton, who just puts up a huge kick. Not quite taken there by the USA, but substitute Blake Burdett takes it on.
Just lost forward as he went on the floor. Lost forward.
That's a shame for the United States.
Hey, hands down. Hands down. Hands down. Hands down.
Let's just pop down to the touchline and speak quickly to Jonathan Harris-Bass. Certainly that sin binning of the American Fifita Munga was a blow to the USA, but they've come back very strongly, haven't they?
They've come back very strongly indeed. We just had a change from the Samoans, and it's David Lemmy who's coming on to replace Lome Fa'ata. But the Americans are playing superbly, and as you say, when teams go down to 14 men, it's often when they find themselves broken by the opposition and who can get a good run of points together. Hasn't happened here at all, and as you made several references to that, the crowd and the neutrals in this crowd are really enjoying this game, because both sides, despite the adverse weather conditions, are attempting to play some really thrilling running rugby.
Thanks, Jonathan. That was almost the best kick of the game there. Just went out on the full, and Sapolu there must have been praying that it would just drop 6 inches short, but look at that. They'll have to come all the way back to the line out.
Fractions, wasn't it? Fractions of an inch.
Nice to see David Lemmy come on, of course. He made his debut for Samoa way back in the 1990s.
Oh, that was dreadful, Squinner. He has given it. American jumper just about having to reach over his scrum half's head there to take that ball.
Yeah. Not a good throw, was it? So here we go. Scrum down.
Bit more. Let's make sure it's wet.
That's the big broad shoulders of Hayden Mexted. And Peter Munga there just getting ready to come back on. So the USA will be back to full strength. But haven't they played well over the last 10 minutes?
Yeah, they have. They've won the match 7-0 over the 10 minutes when Munga's been in sin bin. Going back to Mexted, a very famous New Zealand name. Hayden Mexted, born in Whakatane, New Zealand. I wonder whether he's a relative to Murray.
He's got to be, hasn't he? He's got to be. Nice story. There's Nigel Owens on the far side. He's the 4th official here today. The Welsh referee, who's very prominent on the IRB circuit.
21.5 gone. Thank you.
So here comes the American number 8 for Fidi Munga, who's back on the park.
Closer, please.
So
Closer, please. Thank you.
United States back to full strength now.
Touch. Pause.
Free kick to the United States, and Samoa. Well, Chad Erskine was away and running, but Samoa just being a little bit indisciplined at the moment.
Well, I couldn't see what the free kick was for, but you know, just a little bit inconsistent, Mr. Barnes, when he awarded the extra 10 metres for the United States there, when he's been pulling Samoa back to the mark and things earlier on in the match when they're trying to get the ball back and play quickly.
And away play!
So just outside Samoa's 10-metre line. Chad Erskine onto Mike Herkes, the captain, and the centre trying to burst through there. Philip Eloff. Philip Eloff himself was born in South Africa. Been living in the United States now for about 5 or 6 years. And Samoa just sniffing the ball out there. They feel they've got a chance of turning it over.
It's a bit scrappy. Looks like Kane Thompson down there, I think. Is it?
There's a Samoan flat on his back at the moment too. It's Mahonri Shvalga, the Samoan hooker, with his back to us there, who got hit from behind by Chris Ostanovsky, the American prop, and poor old American centre there, Philip Eloff, was double teamed by a couple of Samoans, who were very big fellas indeed.
Take your players. Take your players. Just take your players.
We're getting a little bit edgy in the closing stages, closing quarter of this match. Still a lot at stake for both sides.
Okay. 1 second.
Oh, that's Purdy, I think, isn't it? Justin Purdy.
Your man's being treated, so you just take your players away a second.
I'm not quite sure what the Americans were getting shirty about, but certainly the Samoans can be known to be totally uncompromising in the tackle. But equally, I think the Americans today have just held their own, physically and technically as well. The Team Samoa will fight back in 2011 rather, but they're in the box seat at the moment, and the USA are the ones who've got all the work to do.
Well, I think this is where Purdy hurt himself. Well, it looks like he was shot on the ankle by one of his own players.
So as the Mexican wave goes round the stadium once more, just watching a few replays of the last 4 or 5 minutes. Let's just pop back down to Jonathan Harris-Bass. Jonathan, any news about Fafita Munga at all?
No news about him on this side, but we are having a couple of changes from both teams. Coming on for the Americans is Mark Ayler, the number 19, and for the Samoans, Joe Takori's coming on. It looks Well, they've got the stretcher out on the pitch now, so it doesn't look that good, but as we've seen throughout this World Cup, they have used that as a precautionary measure, which is completely understandable.
Absolutely. And Joe Takori, he'll be wearing number 18, as Jonathan was just saying. Made his debut this year against South Africa in their first encounter in the World Cup. Bit of a baptism of fire for him.